Well, good evening to all of you. Let's move on to the big conversation, and this is a one specific topic that impacts thousands and lakhs of students in our country. It's a controversy and a fight that's gone on for far too long since the pandemic hit us. Whether or not to hold final year exams for college students in our country amidst the pandemic. Now, if you remember, viewers, UGC issued a set of guidelines, gave the options to the universities to either hold the final exams online or offline or as a combination of both, depending on the situation in that city, in that state. But this has not happened so far in many states. Two states, Maharashtra and Delhi, have legally gone to the top court now opposing this move. The students have filed a petition against this decision because they say it's impossible for many of them to have that kind of access to online systems or also physically be present in times of a lockdown to give these exams. Should the exams be held or not is the big question. And the politics, the face-off between states and the center, is that really impacting the future of our students in our country regarding the final year exams for colleges? Now, let me tell you what's happened today and in the last few days. UGC will have to now respond to Delhi and Maharashtra's decision to cancel the exams. This is what the Supreme Court has asked them to respond in written about what they have to say to the decision taken by Maharashtra and Delhi to not hold exams. UGC will reply on whether the Disaster Management Act overrides UGC guidelines or not. Remember, in our country, the Disaster Management Act has been implemented since the announcement of the pandemic and the lockdown. But UGC, as well as the center, are holding by their view that it is very important for the future of their students that they give these exams. And they have said that the students need to continue preparing for exams, that degrees will not really be recognized anymore if exams are not taken and they don't get their pass certificate basis their exam performance. The matter is now supposed to be held on 14th of August. Now, my simple question is this, and we've opened up our phone lines because we want to hear from students, from parents, from academicians, and what they think should happen right now, and if they actually believe that politics is actually impacting this, or is it genuine fear? Can exams be held? Maybe in a few cities the situation is fine, but what about cities that keep going into the lockdown? What about students who've already given up on their colleges and hostels and gone back home? Do they have access to net or not? And I will also cite you instances of universities that have actually attempted to go the online way, including the Delhi University that's holding exams starting today. Over the next couple of weeks, the exams will be held online, and how chaotic it is or how easy or simple it is. These are some of the issues that we will explore. Let's say good evening to the panelists who are joining us right now on this show. Tuhin Sinha, spokesperson of the BJP, Akshay Marathe of the Aam Aadmi Party, Clyde Crasto, spokesperson for the NCP, Parth Munia Ramakeshwar, BE Electrical final year student with the MS University in Gujarat, joins us this evening. I've also got Mr. Balachandra Mungekar, former member for Rajya Sabha Congress and former Vice Chancellor of the Mumbai University, and Professor Ansari, former member of the UGC. Let me see if I can actually go across to Parth first, whose life I'm sure gets affected by whatever is decided by a state, by the center and UGC. Parth, has your university held any exams so far? Is there a plan, an announcement that has been made? Okay, I'm going to go across to Parth in just a bit, but let me actually bring in Akshay Marathe, because Akshay, your government has taken a clear stand that now is not the time to hold these exams. It's not really possible, even though we understand that the Delhi University is holding the open book examination format.
That's absolutely right, Tanvi. Delhi University has started their exams from today, their online exams. But as you might know, the Delhi University comes directly under the central government, and Delhi state government's decision to not hold final year exams only applies to the state government's universities. And out of the 7 universities that Delhi government runs, 6 are very small universities which have very small class sizes. And through an online route, the universities did manage to hold exams. But The Indraprasth University in Delhi, which has around 27 to 28,000 final year students, come from all backgrounds and have varied, socioeconomic. They come from varied socioeconomic strata of society. And let me tell you, Tanvi, I am a student of Delhi University. I took an exam today. I took an online exam today, and I can assure you that if I did not have a laptop, if I did not have a silent, quiet room to take the exam in my own house, it would have been impossible for me to take this exam. And that is precisely the argument being made by thousands and lakhs of students, that only those few who have the privilege of having expensive technological devices, a speedy Wi-Fi connection, a quiet room to study and take their exams, only they will be able to take these online exams. But the large majority of our country is not like that. And why this central government is hell bent on holding their futures to ransom is something that is beyond me. I'll read out the relevant paragraph that the Delhi government has filed in the Supreme Court. It says the completion of the teaching learning process is fundamental to the conduct of regular examinations. It's very simple. When half the semester has been wiped out by the pandemic, how and what are we going to test students on through full-fledged examinations? Delhi government is making a very clear stand saying that we should assess students through internal assessments, other means of assessing students, but we cannot possibly hold full-fledged exams either offline or online as the central government is insisting that all students should go through.
Okay, but I just want to understand one thing, Akshay. The decision to have it online is not compulsory. UGC says that you can make it a combination of both, or you can give them the option of physically appearing for the exams. But is that not a viable option?
Tanvi, after really immense efforts of the people of Delhi, the governments, the organizations, we have managed to bring Corona under control in Delhi. If we let our guard down, imagine there are 28,000 students who are to take exams, supposedly. If these 28,000 students congregate, even if they are in small groups of a few hundred, imagine the kind of health risk that we are placing on these students, especially at a time when we have given concessions to students in other semesters. I had made this point in your program the last time that all semesters hold equal weightage when it comes to giving degrees to students. The first year, the second year students have already been promoted by as recommended by the UGC. How are third year, final year students any different? It's truly illogical and beyond any comprehension why the government is making this issue continue to harass students. It's been 4 months. Remember, this exam should have happened in May. We are in August. Half of the year has already been wasted in this needless controversy by the BJP government. And they're really holding the youth of this country to ransom. It's unacceptable.
Okay, let me bring in Tuhin Sinha at this point before I go to our experts. Tuhin, there is a legitimate concern about how will students either travel or reach an exam center within the same city or from another city or have access to online systems at work. There are far too many complaints already coming in where this has been attempted and people had so much problem uploading their answer sheet, accessing a stable network. Is it really, is there a point to holding exams right now?
I would repeat that we believe that exams are important to uphold the tenets of a merit-based education system. But if you look at the enormous flexibility which has been provided in the details, I am sure the Aam Aadmi Party or the government in Maharashtra don't get into details. But if you simply look at the details, whether it is the option of taking it offline or in a blended form or online, I think the options are enormous. And then again, there is a provision that if for some reason the students are not able to appear, they can still appear for a special examination. Now, I would like to confront the Aam Aadmi Party on basic data. Today, 80% of rural India has net connectivity. So I don't believe that students who study in metros and who go back to their homes, even if it is a Raipur or Jabalpur or wherever, would not have net connectivity. Yes, buying a computer requires an investment, but in the last 6 months, if the amount they have saved by way of not having to pay hostel expenses or mess expenses, I think this is a small evolution process which students can undertake. I think throughout, if you look at students in the past, they have taken
No, so
challenges. No reason
help me
why.
understand, Tuhin. I mean, help me understand this. The colleges have been shut for a while. We took a lot of effort. BJP was at the forefront of it to even transport the students back to their hometowns and villages
I
in
think
other
there's a
states.
net
How are
connectivity
those students
issue.
now expected to do this? Take a flight. All right. Let me check again. Tuhin, can you hear me now?
Explain why so many students have a problem with online exams.
Tanvi, can you come in, Tanvi?
No, I am saying if a student does not have access to online and a stable online system, and you say you're giving them the option of physically being present, how are they supposed to travel across states to get back to the city where the exam will be held? They will then have to be quarantined, then go to the examination center. Who is going to create a support system to enable students to do that? Those who are sitting in their small towns and villages today, unable to reach the examination center. Tuhin, the question to you, if you can hear me.
There was a net problem. Can you just repeat the question, because there was a internet problem in between?
This is precisely what we have been saying. The internet problems in this country
Don't
That's the whole point.
just repeat the question.
What we are saying. Mr. Tuhin Sinha, if you being such a prosperous and important member of the Bharatiya Janata Party do not have access to a good internet connection, how do you expect people who are the Aam Aadmi of this country to have constant continuous
How the Aam Aadmi Party can trivialize important discussions?
civilization,
repeat
who are being insensitive
20.
by denying
Okay, I think I'm hoping Tuhin got at least this. One minute. I'm hoping at least Tuhin got what Akshay Marathi was saying, driving home the point that technology is still not reliable to that extent. If we can't have a simple conversation without these tech glitches, imagine the stress a student will have to go to give this exam online. And we are sitting in the biggest of the metro cities having this problem. Clyde, you wanted to make a point? Go ahead, please.
Tanvi, are you going to bring us in the Tanvi, are you going to bring us in the discussion? Or we shall be silent listeners?
BJP spokesperson was giving too much of his
One by one, sir. I will
and
come to all panelists one by one. Yes, Clyde Castro.
No, the BJP spokesperson was trying to be holier than thou and give big noble speeches about tenets of education, and every rural country is connected with internet. He's sitting in Mumbai city and he cannot come through to you. That's exactly what the point Akshay Marathi was trying to make. My point is, if he's talking about the tenets of education, he was talking about nobility. What happened to this nobility? What happened to the tenets of education when ABVP writes a letter to the Goa governor to cancel the final year examination? What happened? We had not even seen too many COVID cases. It was just beginning there. What happened to all this morality? What happened to all this nobility that then? So in one state where there are not too many corona cases, you don't want the students to be in danger. But in other states, when there are corona cases are high, you don't mind students being in danger. Who's playing the politics here? We are trying to help the students, trying to safeguard the students, and you accuse us of politics. 29th of April circular what from the UGC that the local universities at the disaster management will take into consideration how the conditions are and then come up with it accordingly. That's what the Maharashtra government has done. They've consulted the vice chancellors of universities. They've held meetings. They've assessed the situation. They've understood the conditions right now in Maharashtra, and therefore they have come up with this. My simple point is that why are you playing politics with the lives of the students? And it's not that they're giving them free, promoting them.
Let me bring in.
Last point. My last point is.
Let me bring in our experts, Clyde. I'll come back to you. Why play politics is your point. I will come back to you for your last point. But let me go across to Mr. Mungekar. Mr. Mungekar, is there a legitimate fear about holding exams in current scenario, or can it be done and everything else is just politics?
Mr. Akshay Marathi, I congratulate him the way he has expressed his opinion. That speaks volumes, and I perfectly justify government of Maharashtra and all other state governments which are not able to conduct the examination. Please let us understand very well Bharatiya Janata Party at the central government is using UGC as an instrument to strangulate the state governments by making exams compulsory. Now, for example, they are giving holy talk and etc. They are so elementary. Even fifth standard students can understand the importance of the examination. The question basically is, in rural Maharashtra, there is 3% internet, and urban Maharashtra, there is around 14% internet. Second point is, by end of September, there will be, according to my estimate at the present rate, suppose, for example, corona spreads, by end of September, there will be at least 8 lakh corona affected patients. Now, third, so far these mandatory conditions that UGC is giving, when UGC has become mandatory, I was in charge of the entire education in the planning commission. UGC's recommendations are just suggestive and they are just the guidelines. Where is UGC when 40% of the universities don't have regular vice chancellor? Where is UGC when 40% colleges don't have regular staff? I mean, where is UGC when the teachers are not giving education facilities? UGC is being tool in the hands of the government to strangulate the government. State governments are not avoiding taking examination. State governments are unable to conduct the examination. For example, Maharashtra, according to affidavit they were given to the court, that they say that 10 lakh students are appearing for the examination. Is it possible? The gentleman Holy Cow who was talking about representative of the BJP government, he was talking about that conducting examination. I have gone through thoroughly. I was in charge of education and in charge of education in the planning commission. 10 lakh students appearing for the examination and they are giving combination of online, it is out of question, offline, out of question, and then what is the combination of the two? And what is the merit they are talking about? In out of the 100 or 200 universities, not a single university is appearing in the merit list. What is that merit list talking about? 18% is the rate of unemployment in the education. 77% engineers are unemployable. PhDs and MAs and MPs are applying for the post of peons in Gwalior. And what is merit they are talking about? In fact, please can you allow me one sentence to speak? UGC by this time would have been abolished. It is surviving only because of Bhalchandra Mungekar. Because at that point of time, Parliamentary Standing Committee was considering the bill or the report given by the Yashpal Summit Committee, that National Council of Higher Education and Research. And by that time, AICTE and UGC, both of them were supposed to be subsumed and to be abolished. I, as a member of the Standing Committee on Human Resource Development and former Vice Chancellor of the University of Mumbai, I registered this proposal. That's why UGC is surviving. UGC is working today just like mindset, just like Jilla Parishad. What is the sacrosanct of UGC today? It is just like recommendatory body. When state governments and central governments are not implementing the scales that UGC is recommending at that time, is UGC using the powers mandatory? My point is, between the two, the lives of the students and their examination, what is the most preferable? The government, central government is making the politics. And ABVP stand is absolutely, if I use the word, it is shameful. If BJP government today have been there in all the state government, incidentally, all the state governments which are not able to hold the examination, how it happened to be all of them, they are not BJP governments. ABVP is supposed to be championing the cause of the students. Now, students' merit or students, for example, their lives. Last point, when you are giving first year into second year and second year into third year, if you take average of 2 first and second and consider semester system consistency test in statistics you apply and you give them the weightage, what is wrong in that? Oxford has cancelled the examination. Cambridge has cancelled the examination. Harvard has cancelled the examination. Your Bhagalpur University and universities in some remote areas, are they more sacrosanct? These universities will be ranking anywhere. These are the, I'm sorry to say
in fact,
this
let me add to this.
It is absolutely, I'm opposed to conducting examination because
yes, Mr. Mungekar, if I can add to this, here is the other side though.
Please.
The fact is that out of over 800 universities which are under UGC, about 209 of them have conducted exams. 394 are willing to conduct exams and 215 are either not decided or not willing to conduct the exam. So there is a very clear divide on what even the universities and perhaps even the students want. Let me just bring in Professor Ansari on this. Professor Ansari, then what do we do if there is a legitimate concern? I have 2 examples just of today of students who have raised issues. DU students who their exams, online exams have started today, One of them said I had my Hindi exam today according to the date sheet, but when I opened the portal for downloading my question paper, I found 2 question papers were uploaded, which added to the confusion. Now I mailed to the School of Open Learning, but there was no response. I consulted my professor. He just said go ahead and attempt whatever is there today. Another one said I had a lot of problem uploading my answer sheet. It was 11:28 a.m. by the time I finished creating PDF file. I tried to upload them, but they didn't get uploaded. I have mailed them to the designated ID, but don't know whether they will be accepted. Now, this kind of a stress in the minds of students when it's something as important as their final college year examination papers, is that really the right way to go? Professor Ansari.
The problems and issues raised by the students, the teachers, the universities are quite valid. But let me state at least 3 points in this connection. One is that the degrees and the diplomas awarded by the Indian universities are enjoy the parity. And therefore, that ensures mobility of students, and therefore it requires that all the universities and the colleges must conduct final year examination to be able to award degrees. Now, as you also mentioned, a large number of universities have already have conducted examinations, are in the process of conducting examination, whereas some others have expressed their inability because of the COVID threat. So now in this case, we are totally in a divide, and therefore the UGC has provided the guidelines. It is the guidelines, as Professor Mungekar rightly said, that the UGC doesn't have the teeth and it cannot do anything if the universities which have problems like internet access facilities that is not there, as many of the students have expressed problems in accessing the internet facilities. So they can use their own autonomy because they enjoy considerable autonomy in taking certain decisions about the educational processes, about the conduct of examination. And they may hear to what some of those students are expressing, and that is that their marks could be awarded on the basis of the past performance. So what I'm trying to say is that all these possibilities are available, and therefore the issues that we are raising at times becomes a non-issue, in the sense that the UGC provides quite flexible guidelines, and it says that the students can appear online, offline, or they can try to take examination at a later stage. That could be the supplementary examination. Now, even if it is not possible, it is not workable, because as you said, that the students are located at far distances, they cannot travel, they cannot gather together. In those specific cases, taking advantage of the university's autonomy, they can, in a particular year, that is this year, they can take a decision and they can award degrees. They can also, of course, make a mention in the degrees that how the examination had been conducted, or that is reflected in the mark sheet. So what I'm trying to say is that those students who are expressing inability either because they are located at distances, or because they don't have the internet facilities, or they cannot really manage, I mean, as to how to access question papers, how to load their answer sheet, etc. If they have the problem, the university can take a decision, and the UGC has absolutely no authority to cancel or de-recognize the degrees awarded by those universities. So issue, even the politics that is being talked about.
Yes, but the UGC, Professor Ansari, but the UGC keeps repeatedly saying that they will not, their degree will not be recognized if they don't give their exams. Repeatedly in every hearing in the Supreme Court, also this point is made, that their degree will not be recognized. All their work so far will not be recognized if they don't give their exams. Let me bring in Clyde Plasto here. Professor, I will come back to you.
Let me make a point that the UGC doesn't have any power to de-recognize degree awarded by any other university. It has issued only the guidelines, and that guidelines is largely complied with. by most of the by all the universities. Many of the guidelines issued by the by the UGC are not complied with. As Professor Mungekar also mentioned about the availability of teachers, about the appointment of vice chancellors, and so many other things. So in this particular case, the universities can go ahead and on the basis of the inputs from the students and because of the lack of internet facilities or because of the COVID threat, they can go ahead and award the degrees on the basis of past performance of the students, and the UGC has absolutely no power to de-recognize the degrees awarded by the universities because the universities have the autonomous power.
Can we 15 seconds only, please? I just
Yeah.
profusely
All right, all right.
thank
Clyde
Professor
Castro, please.
Ansari.
Clyde, yes, go ahead.
And I think for taking such a balanced view, okay, I know Professor Ansari, we were there on one number of occasions discussed together, but for taking most appropriate, reasonable and feasible balanced view on behalf of the university, I mean University Grant Commission, I profusely congratulate him. He mentioned that if the students are finding these difficulties, out of 10 lakhs in Maharashtra, 9 lakhs or 9.95% people will be, students will be finding the difficult. It's not few, but I professionally congratulate as we are academic colleagues that for taking such a balanced view. Thank you very much for allowing me once again.
Thank you, Professor.
No, it's okay. Because we are together.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us as well on this. Yes, Clyde wanted to add to that. Clyde, I'm sure you will actually agree with what Mr. Mungekar was saying about the state of students in Maharashtra.
See, I'll tell you something. Two people who are the best in their field. One is an ex-vice chancellor. One is an ex-member of the UGC, Professor Ansari. Two people have spoken. Now, there are other people who think they're experts in this matter. I don't think so. I'll tell you very clearly. The point here is the 29th April circular that the UGC said was that it is, you do a composite. You do a composite, based on the CIAs or internal assessment or the past semesters, put it together. So nobody is promoting anybody for free here. They are assessing the situation and coming to a composite marks, and then they are passing the students. Now the point here is very clear is, you mentioned that certain universities are agreeing, certain universities are not decided. See, it depends on the situation where the UGC themselves have said that the prevailing situation in a particular state need to take a decision. So if certain universities are taking a decision because the prevailing situation is not good for the students, whether it's internet connectivity, which was proven right now, how bad internet connectivity can be in Mumbai city. Secondly, so many colleges in Maharashtra have now become COVID centers, have become portable hospitals. So how? It's impossible. And besides that, how can an examination be conducted? Because it's not a possibility at the moment. And the Disaster Management Act has been implemented, and your vice chancellors of universities have got together and have taken a decision. All the top heads, all the experts behind this whole thing have come to a decision. Then this is nothing but politics. The UGC is being pressurized politically because, like I give you example of Goa, that in Goa, the ABVP writes a letter to not have an exam. In other states, they are pushing for an examination.
But
so
why?
Let's stop playing
Okay.
politics. Let's stop playing politics with the lives of these students. And so many people who want to go out and get jobs. So if their results are declared and if they get the degree, they can start working. So many people, whether they're working from home or wherever, at least they have some security. So stop playing politics. BJP needs to stop playing politics and, don't put the lives of these students into jeopardy.
Okay.
You just understand that too.
Okay, let me see if Tuhin is back with us and he can respond to you, Tuhin. Why play politics? You've heard the experts. UGC can't really de-recognize anybody's degree. UGC needs to leave it to the universities as well to figure out how it has to be done. Why are we insistent on following these guidelines?
First of all, I find it very amusing that somebody representing the Maharashtra government should give me sermons on how not to get politics, and the entire focus of the Maharashtra government at the time of pandemic is on burying a murder mystery. So anyway, let's not get into that. The point is, we don't know how long this pandemic is going to prolong. It could be another year, end of next year. So if this is an opportunity to be innovative and to carry out an experiment with all due precautions, I think we should go ahead with it. If for some reason it doesn't happen at September end, We could always take a call. We could either go the other way or seek a fresh date. And most likely we won't go for an extension post September end. But this is an opportunity where we should raise the bar, where we should stretch ourselves, taking due precautions, and we should try to explore an alternate system which has not been explored before. That is a basic difference of attitude between a BJP-led government and another government which is rather populist in everything that it does.
I know, Akshay, you also
Tanvi,
want to make a point, but let me bring in a student first and get his view. Parth is a final year student in engineering, and he has a specific view on it. Parth, what is your university's stand on whether or not to hold these exams?
Firstly, I will represent all the students of the India. I will not tell only my views. First, I'll tell what my university is doing. We had a mock test online, but the website crashed and the mock test failed. So the exams are postponed. This uncertainty leads to mental stress of the students. And the special exams, as UGC said, we don't know when the special exam took place, but we need to start jobs and apply for the masters, but we don't have degrees and we can't proceed further. So we request UGC to cancel exams and give degree on the basis of internal assessment and previous semester. There is nothing political issue. Please don't make it political issue. We don't want politics in student lives. Student lives matters. And as UGC said, we have given offline option for the exam. But sir, I want to say that many students can't appear for offline exams as Bihar and Assam's facing floods. The students who are स्टूडेंट्स जो दूसरे स्टेट में है वो कैसे ट्रैवल करेंगे, उनका अकोमोडेशन कैसे होगा, वो सब प्रॉब्लम्स यूजीसी ने कंसीडर
पार्थ,
क्यों नहीं किए।
आपके खुद के यूनिवर्सिटी और क्लास में ऐसे स्टूडेंट्स होंगे जो इफ़ यू आर फ्रॉम एमएस यूनिवर्सिटी जो वडोदरा में नहीं है, जो गुजरात के दूसरे पार्ट से या कंट्री के दूसरे पार्ट से आए होंगे, क्या वो लोग घर चले गए या अभी भी सिटी में ही हैं?
Students are at home. No one is in Vadodara. Students who are from other states are at their home. And यूनिवर्सिटी ने ऑनलाइन एग्जाम्स कंडक्ट किए थे, उसका मॉक हुआ था, उसमें वेबसाइट क्रैश हो गई और एग्जाम पोस्टपोन हो गई। तो अभी पता नहीं एग्जाम की नई डेट्स कब आएंगी। इसी वजह से स्टूडेंट्स बहुत स्ट्रेस में है। वो जॉब के लिए अप्लाई नहीं कर सकते, मास्टर्स एडमिशन के लिए अप्लाई नहीं कर सकते, और जो मतलब कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम्स के लिए प्रिपेयर करना चाहते हैं वो भी नहीं कर सकते। मतलब स्टूडेंट्स का मतलब बहुत प्रॉब्लम्स फेस कर रहे हैं।
Okay, all right, Parth. Thanks so much for joining us and giving us that view. Now, before I go across to some callers who are on the phone line, Akshay, you wanted to make a point. Go ahead, please.
You know, the BJP spokesman before the student was waxing eloquent about the credibility of our universities and that the BJP government is thinking about the credibility. I want to ask a pointed question. The Indian Institutes of Technology, the IITs, are supposed to be the hallmark of credibility and the hallmark of excellence in education in our country. IIT Bombay, IIT BHU have already conducted internal assessments to promote final year students and award them degrees. Are you suggesting that the IITs of India are compromising on their educational credibility? Are you suggesting that several other universities, including some run by the central government, including Jamia University, including Aligarh University, which have already taken decisions to have internal assessments instead of full-fledged examinations, are you really suggesting that these top-class universities are actually worse than some of the universities that are run by other BJP states? We have in Delhi state government runs 6 universities every year for the last 6 years since the Aam Aadmi Party has been in power, have only climbed in the rankings. We understand education. We understand education and higher education, and we take the decisions that are required to be taken for excellence in education. Let the UGC and the central government not preach to the entire country on what is academic credibility, as if nobody else understands how to run education in this country.
Okay, a point well made. Let me bring in our viewers. Francis is on the call from Bengaluru. Good evening, Francis. Do you have a view? Is there a legitimate concern about holding exams in such a time, or do you think it's just politics?
Yes, madam. Good evening.
Yes, go ahead,
madam.
please.
Yes. My name is Francis. I'm calling you from Bangalore. Now, my son is doing his final exams, final SEM. My concern is, as the BJP person who was talking about there, he was not in a position to get the connectivity. My son, as the other politician was telling that, he did his exams today and he had a closed room. Tomorrow, if my son is going to write his exams, and if he is going to give his exams, he is going through his exams, he finishes his final SEM, will my son get a guaranteed job? Will he get a job? My second view is, if at all, my son finishes his final exams, if during the exam something goes wrong, and he is not in a position to complete his exam on that particular day, what happens to his career? Who is going to be responsible for his career? As a father,
Okay, fair enough. If there are technical glitches or because of any other reasons, Mr. Francis is asking what happens if my son is unable to finish that exam online, who will take responsibility? Will another chance be given because his future is at stake? Thank you, Mr. Francis, for calling us. Let me actually go across to Utkarsh, who is calling us from Deoghar in Jharkhand. And Utkarsh is actually a student whose college is in Karnataka. Utkarsh, what's your view? Are you ready to go back and give your exam?
No, ma'am, it is highly impossible for me to go and give back the exam since the COVID pandemic cases are rising each and every day. So, who will take the responsibility of my life? The UGC is not guaranteed on that, whether they will take responsibility of my life. If something happens to me, will they be responsible?
You can give them online, Utkarsh. Is that an option for you in Deoghar?
No, ma'am, they are conducting offline exam. My college, which is VTU, Visvesvaraya Technical University, is conducting offline exams. First, they told us to vacate the hostel when the cases were really less. Now they are calling us back when there are cases are touching every day to around 62,000. So it is impossible for us to travel. And moreover, ma'am, when IITs can scrap off their final exam and can assess their students on the basis of their internal assessment and previous performances, so why UGC is not doing this for all other universities? They are just comparing us to MIT and Harvard without providing us the infrastructure. They should first provide us the infrastructure, and then they should compare us with the MIT and Harvard and then assess us.
Okay, Utkarsh calling from Deoghar. His college is in Karnataka. He says they're not even giving me an online option. The universities act separately and differently. In fact, I also had another viewer who called in and said, Ankita, who's in Coimbatore, said, well, my college is in Lucknow and they're forcing us to give offline exams. How are we supposed to reach? College is not providing any accommodation. There is no option here to write online mode. These are the real problems that students of our country are facing. Imagine the stress that they're actually going through on a daily basis. And the UGC keeps insisting that students should continue preparing for their exams. To what purpose? How are they going to give it? A student mentally prepares and designs his exam in a sense where they divide their time. If his exam is going to be 3 hours long, you plan ahead. You plan how much time you're going to give to what part, what segment of the examination paper. Now they're supposed to figure out how much time is it going to take for the paper to download, for the answer sheet to upload. What if in the middle of it the technology goes off? What if the internet goes off? What if I lose power or connectivity in my own home? Then will I be given a second chance? What if the question paper is not right? Who do I mail? Who do I ask? Series of questions. What if I travel all the way, say no, I'm going to physically be present for this, I don't want to take a chance with the online paper, and then that person, the student ends up getting COVID. or gets quarantined and is any which way unable to give the paper. Let me give you one example. In Agra, B.Ed examinations were held, and soon after that reports emerged of how rules and norms were not followed, resulting in additional cases. In single day, a massive spike in cases for COVID happened in Agra after this examination was held, where 20,000 students appeared for the exam. We already know in Karnataka we saw a spike in cases after exams in schools were held. Do we really want to go ahead with this? And why can't we take a decision quicker? My appeal would be for the government, for the state governments and the center and UGC to come to a solution faster rather than to keep this sword hanging on our students. Perhaps the Supreme Court needs to crack the whip and ask the governments to stop dragging their foot and get on a same platform, come up with a solution that actually helps our students. It's not about a handful of people and students who live in Bengaluru and Mumbai and Delhi. Lakhs of them live in smaller cities and towns and villages. Who is going to provide them the support system to take these exams? Thank you so much for joining us on this conversation.